This is Garden Variety, a horticulture podcast from Iowa Public Radio and Iowa State University Extension and Outreach. I'm Charity Nebbe. When you're looking through catalogs or walking the aisles at the garden center, it is easy to feel like a kid in a candy store. Every tomato sounds delicious, every pepper sounds tempting, every watermelon just might be your new favorite. Sometimes you need a friend with firsthand knowledge to help you narrow down your options. That friend is Dan Fillius, Iowa State University Extension Horticulture Specialist. Hello, Dan.
Hello, friends.
It's so nice to talk to you again, and it's so much fun to talk about all of the things that you're excited about. And I know you want to start with kind of how we figure out how these plants are going to do, what vegetables are going to be the best ones. And Ryman Gardens is a place that does a lot of that.
Yeah. So there's a trial garden network that ends up designating varieties as All America Selections, AAS winners, you might see in a catalog or on a seed packet. And one of the trial gardens is at Ryman Gardens. And Jessie Liebenguth is trial coordinator there. And I was talking with her yesterday about some of the recent things that they've really enjoyed from those trials there. But I'll get to that in 1 second. But just seeing that designation of AAS winner on a variety or in the catalog next to that variety on the seed packet, it means that variety performed well, not just in this region of the United States, but at trial gardens around the country. It has broad success. So generally, if you see that, it's one that you could, if you're unfamiliar with it, you might consider trying it because it's likely to do pretty good.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good tip. But what was Jessie raving about?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, sorry. Ruby Boar kale. For those kale fans who are either using it for food or for ornamental, Ruby Boar kale was a big standout last year. Jessie said, gorgeous color, short internodes, that distance between the leaves on the stem, meaning that the plant will stay compact and attractive all season. Jessie said that it could be harvested within an inch of its life and then be harvested again the following week.
Oh, wow.
It's a grading container. Yeah, I know. A container standout. And the caterpillars, these, cabbage moth caterpillars or cabbage loopers, they ate all of the kale varieties last year except for this one, which is shocking to me. That's a huge win right there. And this is a AAS gold medal winner, meaning that it won accolades in both the food and ornamental categories.
All right. Well, and that's one of the reasons that we talk about new and different varieties, not just because we want to try something new, but often these varieties may taste better, but they also may be more disease or pest resistant, and that can be really important. And of course, you know your garden's problems better than anybody else, so you know what you need.
Yeah.
Dan, I want to start with tomatoes because they're
Yes.
my favorite, and I think a lot of people feel that way. What kind of tomatoes are you excited about this year?
Yeah, I love this one that I've grown for many years, and I haven't grown it in a while, but Gilbertie, Gilbertie. It's a paste tomato, and what I love about Gilbertie is it's so tasty. The flavor is, from my memory, is unparalleled, so I'm going to give it a try again. And the one catch there is that it doesn't have as many fruit as some of the other ones, so you might have to plant a couple more of them. But for people who are already planting too many tomatoes, that is maybe a solution. You just plant some more Gilberties so you get a little bit more of those paste tomatoes. So the other one, though, is Big Beef Plus. If you're looking for a red slicer, Big Beef Plus is an improvement over the older variety Big Beef, and the plus means that they've added some disease resistance to it, and they also say that the flavor is better, but I don't know about that, but I will say that in a blind taste test with some heirloom varieties on one of the farms I used to work at, we included Big Beef in the taste test, and Big Beef won that taste test over the heirloom varieties. Small sample size, just the farm workers at the farm I was on, of course. But the big disease that it's now resistant to is tomato spotted wilt virus, which I'm seeing more and more on farms here in Iowa each year. So it's, I think, only a matter of time. And you might consider looking for a variety that has tomato spotted wilt virus resistance.
All right, let's talk about peppers.
Sure. Oranos is an orange that's very productive. I know a lot of growers who are really enamored with this variety. It is an expensive one, like one of those varieties that's $1 plus per seed, but it is worth it in these growers' opinions and in mine too, because if you get just one more pepper from that plant, that's just, you're only spending what, an extra 50 cents or 75 cents, and you've got more peppers already. But I think this one's going to give you more than just one more pepper. And then my kids love lunchbox peppers, these little snacking ones.
Yeah.
And the ones that I've had good success with are in the Delight series, Delite, the Delight series. They have all the different colors within that series. But then I see a lot of growers, particularly the Amish, have been growing a variety or a series called the Sweetie series. And those seem to be maybe have they might fruit a little bit earlier than the Delight series.
All right, next on your list, you've got edamame. I eat a lot of edamame, but I have never grown it. So,
it's a fun one. This
is it?
this is a fun one. I think, it's a soybean, right? So this is obviously soybeans do well here in Iowa. But the doing edamame at scale, it really doesn't make a lot of sense unless you've got machinery to harvest it. But if you're doing just a few plants and you want to have a nice little edamame snack, Toya, Tohya, is one that is just it's an easy pick. One of the issues that I've seen with edamame is that maybe you only get 2 beans per pod, but Toya seemed to have like more reliable 3 bean pods and just a vigorous plant. And so you just grow a few of these, you pick them, and then you strip. Take a little bit of time to strip these off, steam them, or and put some salt on, and they're delicious.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about broccoli. That is a crop a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah, especially, our climate in the summer is not really what a broccoli wants, with cool nights, and so there are certain varieties that have been bred for more heat tolerance as they mature. And so 2 that I've seen people have success with are Monty and Imperial. Those are good summer heat tolerant varieties. You plant them in the summer and then they grow and they'll be ready in late summer or early fall. And then some people just aren't growing regular crown broccoli anymore, and they're going with sprouting broccoli, which has more, it can be more reliable. And so Happy Rich is a really good sprouting broccoli that you can get, because even with those heat tolerant varieties, if you get a year like last year where it was really wet and hot nights, there is a disease called alternaria that can take over, or there can just be physiological issues where they kind of don't make that nice domed head.
All right, and sprouting broccoli just means that sort of the florets are spread out more over the stalk?
Yes. It's like broccolini. It's a smaller stalk and with little florets. So it's more stalks that come together to make essentially the same size as the as a crown would be. But more plants, more seeds to make the same bulk, but good sweet flavor.
All right, let's talk about cauliflower.
Yeah. Grower turned me on to a variety called Twister, and the grower here in Boone County turned me on to Twister. It's a good white cauliflower, self-wrapping, hence the name, Twister. Those leaves twist over the top, and that helps blanch that so that if when it's mature, it doesn't start to turn brown from sun exposure. But some people don't worry about that and plant an orange variety. Clementine is a really nice bright orange variety. You don't really have to worry about it browning because it's just orange. And it's kind of fun, a little pop of color. And then like the broccoli with sprouting broccoli, some people are also going to a sprouting cauliflower, or also known as green stem cauliflower, that is more popular in Asia, but I've seen more growers here trying it, really liking it. Sweet stems again. And the variety, it's a funny one. Song is what people call it for short, but the full name is Song TJS-65.
All right, let's talk about green beans.
Yeah, I at my house love little filet beans, and Maxabel is a really good variety for small filet beans. You just pick them earlier. They do get bigger, and they're still tasty then, but I like those small ones. If you want normal sized green beans, Jade is a standby. long, standing variety that's still good. And then a newer one that a lot of growers are turning to is Seychelles, like the islands. And then this is Jesse over at the Ryman Gardens AAS trials mentioned that a relative of Seychelles in like the same breeding line, but purple bean and a pole bean, if you're looking for saving on like horizontal space and want to climb, Majesty is a purple pole bean that's similar to Seychelles, like a round pods, long one, very good flavor and performed well.
All right. And Dan, we are not going to make it all the way through your list.
No.
So I'm going to let you pick what you're most excited about that's remaining.
Yeah, sure. I think that I'll just mention that basil, you really should be looking at downy mildew resistant varieties. And Jesse over at Ryman Gardens vouched for another couple new ones that did well over there at Ryman Gardens in their AAS trials. Piedmont and Treviso both have downy mildew resistance. And I would, the ones we mentioned last year were the Prospera series. Those are also good ones, but it's nice that there's a lot of different varieties people can try and find one that has a good flavor that they like. But I will mention that not every year is downy mildew a problem. And if you want to I would encourage you to try one other variety called Everleaf Emerald Towers, it does not have downy mildew resistance, but in years where downy mildew is not a problem here, it will bolt, no joke, like 6 to 8 weeks later than other basil. It'll start to set flowers much, much, much later. And you can keep picking leaves without worrying about those flowers for a long, long time. So maybe just plant one of those just in case it's not a downy mildew a downy mildew pressure year.
All right. I think you've got time for one more.
Okay, Bolero carrots, always a standby. Every grower that I know grows Bolero carrots as their storage carrots. So if for summer storage carrots that are very, very, very tasty, get sweeter in storage, Bolero carrots. It won the favorite variety overall in a bracketed Market Farm Madness tournament where farmers were voting on their favorite varieties. It won it back in 2023. And so Bolero carrots, it's a huge winner there.
All right, sounds like a different kind of March Madness, Dan.
Yeah.
All right. Dan Fillius, Iowa State University Extension Horticulture Specialist. For more gardening information and tips, please subscribe to our garden variety newsletter. Find out more at iowapublicradio.org/garden. I'm Charity Nebbe. Garden Variety is a production of Iowa Public Radio and Iowa State University Extension. It's produced by me, Erin Stile, Caitlin Troutman, and the Iowa Public Radio talk show team. For more garden goodness, please subscribe to our Garden Variety newsletter. Just go to iowapublicradio.org/garden. I'm Charity Nebbe. See you next time.